Hey everyone, are you ready for our next challenge? It's time. Hi everyone, Cristin here, and we have some time before the spring showers quilt comes out, so it's time for our next project. So if you joined me for the winter stash buster challenge, then you have either finished your pillow or are in the process of finishing it. And make sure to share a photo in the Cristin Creates group when you've got it all done. It's so fun to have it all done and to see all the different pillows. These were truly unique. I absolutely loved this project. So we're going to follow this same design and we're going to do the official Lucky Us pillow. So you need to download from the Kimberbell Vault the Lucky Us pillow. It's in the Kimberbell Vault, available as a direct download. So that is the product that we need to be able to do this project. And you also need an 18-inch pillow. I'm just going to use the one from my winter pillow. I'll switch them out. So I have gone ahead and cut and prepared all of my fabrics. So I use these dry erase packets to hold them all, and I've got them all with a little piece of Kimberbell tape, and it says what block that this packet is for. So one thing I want to point out is I am going to do this project different. I'm going to follow the Kimberbell directions and the designs will all be the same, but I'm going to follow the order a little differently just to mix it up and keep it interesting. And at the end of this video, you'll probably realize why I'm changing it just a little bit. So today, I'm hoping to do 3 blocks. That's my goal, is to get the first 3 blocks done. But again, remember, I'm doing it in a different order. So it's not blocks 1, 2, and 3 like you might think. It is a different set of blocks. So like I said, I keep all of mine in here and I've got them in order of how I'm going to do them. And it just makes it easier to keep everything organized. When we did our winter stash buster challenge, most of us had big messes in our sewing room because we didn't really know how it was all going to come together and which fabrics we were going to use. So I bought a fabric kit for this Lucky Us official pillow. So how easy. It's already got the directions. We can go ahead and prepare our fabrics and figure it all out together easily instead of the mystery of not knowing what we're gonna do and just having this pile of fabric. I was so excited to clean up my room. I can't tell you. So I cleaned everything up and I went ahead and I got my fabrics cut for Lucky Us. So our first block today is block number 2. So that is clover 1. Block 2 is clover 1. And it's a real simple block. And so let me just go over what we're going to need. So we are going to have our main fabric, which is, it's hard to tell in the directions that some of them are so small. So I'll just spell it out a little bit for you. So it is white on white with like little flowers on it. I think this was from the Make Yourself at Home collection. So white on white, and you're going to cut this to 6.5 by 6.5 and make sure to back it with fusible stabilizer. You want to make sure to back it so that you're not getting puckers. So 6.5 by 6.5 for your main fabric. This is for block number 2, which is our first block today. So we have one simple applique piece. So our one simple applique piece is the green glitter vinyl. And this, the Kimberbell vinyl, you want to always make sure to take off the top layer. I should have done this before I started my video. But you're gonna take off the top layer of, it's like this sticky vinyl, and you don't want that on your project. And after we place it and trim it, we're actually going to iron it down with a pressing cloth over the top. So just like this, make sure to take this sticky top off before you put it down on your applique piece. All right, and this piece, our one simple applique piece, is 4.5 by 4.5, and it comes that way if I recall in our fabric kit. So on the fabric kit, we don't have a sponsor for this project. This was just an interim project in between while we're waiting for the spring showers quilt. So I don't have a sponsor for this. So use your favorite quilt shop or your local quilt shop and get yourself a fabric kit, or use fabrics from your collection. We all saw how to use our stash fabrics from our winter stash buster challenge, so you certainly have that option. All right, and then the other thing that you want is batting. So for this one, our batting is going to be 5 by 5. 5 by 5 for your batting. And then we are going to quilt this. So as I mentioned in the group, I am almost definitely going to use quilting designs that I already have in my collection. I don't think I'm going to buy the new ones at this time. But you have that option, and I'll tell you which ones that Kimberbell recommends so that you can make that choice. And I'll also tell you which ones I'm using. I'm going to try a few different brands of designers of quilting designs. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll share that. I haven't actually decided which one I'm going to use yet, but I will share that as I get there. So our final cut size of this project is 4.5 by 4.5. So that means we want a quilting design that is 4 by 4. You can use any quilting design you want. For the official Kimberbell pillow, they recommend plaid 2. I have plaid 1, I don't have plaid 2, but they're both super pretty. So plaid 2 is what is recommended. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to use, and I'll share that as I get closer to it. So that is for block 2, and it is our first block, and it's the number 1 clover. How confusing is that? Clover 1, block 2, and our first block. Got it? Okay, so for this first block, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and use plaid 1 for my quilting. That's by Kimberbell. It's available from the Kimberbell website as a direct download, and I'll show you how to do that for those that haven't quilted in the hoop before. So, hey everyone, so I wanted to remind you that you can merge your embroidery design with your quilting design using embroidery software, or you can do it on your machine. You can make changes, whatever works for you. I am testing out Embrilliance right now. I haven't used it before. I'm really just figuring it out now, and so far it seems pretty great. So one thing is that when you open up the initial screen, this is yellow, and I changed mine to pink. So just don't freak out when you see that yours is yellow if you end up trying out Embrilliance. So anyway, look at how easy this is. I wanted to show you just a couple basic things. So when you open up Embrilliance, it automatically opens up to this screen, and this is your hoop size, and I think it opens up to the last hoop you used. And down here at the bottom it says that it's my 8 by 8 hoop, and that is what I tested earlier. So you can change your hoop size very easily by going to the Preferences tab up here and go to Hoops. And one thing I wanted to show you too, I just figured this out. I thought it was pretty cool. See how all of these hoop sizes are in metrics? I don't do metric at all. And so every time that you wanted to figure out which hoop to use, you'd have to click on it. And you can see down here at the bottom, it says it's approximately a 7 by 12. So you would just keep on clicking on them until you figure out which hoop that you want. But there's an easier way that I just realized. So see this 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter, it says is an approximate 4 by 4. Well, look at, if I go up here to edit, I haven't actually tried this yet. I just was playing around and realized this. So you can change the name. So I can say 4 by 4. And then you could leave the metric in case people ask you about metric, or you can just have it say 4 by 4, Cristin's hoop, whatever you wanted it to say. So, and then just change that, and look at that. So now it says 4 by 4, so I can easily find that next time. So I'm going to click apply, and you can see in the background that it just changed my hoop to a 4 by 4. So let's go ahead and just quickly show you how to bring in a design and make some very minor changes. Like I said, I'm just learning this now. So if you go up here to this merge stitch file, you can bring in your first design and then find your design. So let's see, I'll go to my Kimberbell quilting. So one thing also I noticed is if you double click on it, once you're in the folder, it brings up this, how do you want to open it? And the reason is because you just want to single click and then it'll show you all the designs that are in that folder, which is very cool instead of just seeing names. So see how I single clicked on that plaid and boom, all of these show up. Instead of seeing, reading all of the ones to figure out which one that you want, you can easily just see them all at a glance. So I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's pretty cool. So it's not just on your quilting, it's on all of your embroidery folders. So that makes it easy. I like that. All right, so 4x4 is what I'm going to look for. So here's the 4x4. I double click on it and it automatically opens up to my my field here, my screen, I don't know what you call it, the basic area. Anyway, so you can see it's outside of my embroidery hoop, and so I want to actually change my hoop. I forgot that I need a 5x7 hoop. So again, I'm going to look through here and find one that's a 5x7. Looks right there. So I'm going to go ahead and change it for future use. It will say 5x7 hoop, so I don't have to try and figure out which one is which. All right, and then apply and say okay. So now I've got my 5x7 hoop. I have my 4x4 quilting design, and over here on the right you can see it says 4x4 plaid Kimberbell, the name of the design, and then if I click this little arrow it shows the different 5 steps. So as you know, this is the placement stitch for the batting, the tack down stitch for the batting, the placement stitch for the main fabric, the tack down stitch for the main fabric, and then the actual quilting design. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring in the quilting design, or not the quilting, sorry, the embroidery design for today. So, oh, sorry, not over here. You can do it over there too, I think, but we're going to go to this over here on the right. It says merge stitch file. Merge stitch file. All right, and then I have it on my desktop. Let's see where to find that. Desktop right here. All right, desktop, and then lucky us. So again, when I click on embroidery files, let me see. Oh, and then you have to click on the one for your machine. So see, it pops up all of the designs. How cool is that? And there's a program called Thumbnailer, which I have not tested yet. I don't know anything about it, but I assume it's similar to this. So this is part of the Embrilliance software. So that's pretty cool. So today we're working on the 5x7 clover number 1. It's actually a 4x4, but we're going to use the 5x7 hoop. So you would just double click that and it goes right to the middle of your design and it's all ready. So I want to show you one other thing. If you wanted to use a design like Designs by Juju or an Etsy quilting design, any of the quilting designs that are like a basic 4x4 that doesn't have all of the batting and all the tack downs, it just has the quilting design. Well, look at, I figured out this quick little easy with Embrilliance. You just click on the quilting part, because remember all of these are those tack downs that we just talked about, but this one is the quilting. You can click delete on your keyboard and that quilting design is gone, and then go to this stitch merge stitch file and find another quilting design that you have. So let's see, what did I have? If I go to here, documents, embroidery files, and then see, it starts popping up all these designs. I think that's so cool. And then mine are under sewing and stipple files, and I've got a bunch that I bought before Kimberbell came out with their quilting that I'd like to use now and then, and so here's a good opportunity to use it. So if I, what was it called? Shamrock, yeah. So if I go to Shamrock, this is from Jail Designs. It's from Etsy, and theirs come in a single run or a triple run, just, you know, if it goes over it more than once type of thing. So I'm just going to do the single run. So this is what I was saying. If you double click on it, it's going to pull up the file and ask you how to open it. So that's my mistake. I need to get used to not double clicking and instead just single click, and boom, it shows all of the designs. So you can just pick them so easily. So here's the shamrock in a 4-inch, and now I double click to have it come onto the field. And you can see it comes down at the bottom here, and it has just the thread color, which I can show you how to change that too. But look, you would just click on it and move it up, and boom, now it's right after the tack down of the quilting or the batting and the placement, all that, and then right into the quilting design, and then on top of that is the clover. Look at how easy that was. I mean, this is me being a complete beginner. I don't know anything about Embrilliance. I've never used it before, and it was very easy to delete and to move the stitch order, and you can change the thread color. Okay, so I think my head is covering, but if you go over to this view toolbars and windows, you can get the properties window to come up, and then you can change the color. Look at that. It has all these cool color options. Say okay. So if you click on the thread that you want to change and then click this thread, we're in the properties window here, click thread, and it'll ask you what type of thread that you want to use. So say that I want to go to Filtech Glide or to Floriani, it doesn't really matter. You can also change this as your preferred brand so that it'll always come up with those color options. And then click on one of the colors and it gives you all these color options that you can change. So that can be helpful if you wanted to change the stitch order, if you want to be able to click on something quickly, easily, if you wanted to delete part of the design. I'll show you that in a later tutorial. That's really easy too. It's different, but it's easy. So this is just a really quick tutorial if you wanted to change your quilting design. That was so easy to do. I'm quite impressed by it, really. So now we've got our stitch order, we've got our quilting design and our clover all together, and you would obviously do a file, save as. And you can do saving the working file and the stitch file, because the stitch file will be your final output that you'll bring to your embroidery machine, whereas the working file is like what's on your computer in case you wanted to make changes later to that. So I'm going to say save stitch file as, and then bring it wherever you want to bring it, name it whatever you want to name it. I'm going to say clover with stitching, with quilting, easy peasy. How cool is that? I'm excited to show you what Embrilliance can do with letters, with adding words to your design. So I've only just started a little tiny bit, but wow, game changer. So more information coming soon, and there is a link underneath this video. If you've already been interested in purchasing Embrilliance, I am now an affiliate with Embrilliance, so there is a code down below. If you choose to get Embrilliance, click on my link. And like I said, more tutorials coming soon. y'all, I wanted to let you know that if you are quilting in the hoop, like I am showing, then you will want to bypass a couple of steps on the clover. As you can see, there is a square around the clover, and that is to hold down your main fabric. But we've already got that with our quilting because we've already got our main fabric all tacked down or basted. So we are just going to simply bypass a couple of these steps. On my machine, there is this button here that's got a plus minus. I'm not sure how it is on all the machines, but I assume that you can bypass steps on all the machines, hopefully. So I would just go down to the next thread, and that's the tack down. The first one was the placement of the main fabric, and this is the tack down of the main fabric. We already have that with our quilting, so I'm just going to hit that down again, and now we've got our placement and then tack down of our clover. So that was easy, just to bypass those couple steps, and now we're ready to do our clover. All right, so that's it for our first block, all the information that you need. And then for our second block, we are actually going to do block 3, which is a 4 square block. We're going to overall do 3 of them, so if you want, you can jump ahead, but at this point, we just need 1. I'm only gonna make 1 so far. So the first one that we're gonna do is block 3. It's 4 square 2. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna confuse you guys, but I promise it will be fun. So we are gonna do a 4 square block, and for the 4 square block, all that we need are 4 pieces of fabric, 2 different fabrics, 4 pieces, each of them cut to 2.5 by 2.5. And I did back these with fusible stabilizer. That's a personal choice. You don't have to do that, but I find that they don't shrink in as much and they look more crisp, and I find them easier to line up. That's my personal choice. So it is this green plaid fabric and the yellow, I don't know what you call it, lines on it fabric, and 2.5 by 2.5 for all 4 pieces. And we are also going to quilt this. So you're gonna want a piece of batting that's 5 by 5. Our final cut size of this project is 4.5 by 4.5. After we've got it all put together, we probably won't even need to trim it. It probably will end up being exactly 4.5 by 4.5 if you use the fusible stabilizer on the back. So if you don't use fusible stabilizer on the back, and if you find that it comes out a little bit too small, you could add a piece of fusible stabilizer on the back of the entire block and use that as your seam allowance. I did that on Love Notes when I hadn't used fusible stabilizer on the back of my blocks. So like I said, I do back my fabrics with fusible stabilizer. So on this one, like I said, our final cut size is 4.5 by 4.5. Our batting is 5 by 5. We're gonna choose any quilting design that you want that is 4 by 4. Any quilting design. The one that they used on their official, the Kimberbell pillow, they used St. Patrick's 4. That's a brand new design. It's really cute. St. Patrick's 4. I'm actually going to use one by an Etsy shop. It's called JL Designs. It's kind of spelled like designs, I think. But anyway, I will add a link if you choose to go with that same one. You absolutely do not have to. You can use your Kimberbell quilting and anything that's 4x4. The one that I'm going to use, it's got shamrocks on it. It's really cute, and I already own it. I bought it before Kimberbell came out with quilting, so I'm going to use from my collection. So use what works for you. We just need 1 4 square block, and we will go ahead and make the other 2 later, but for now we just want this first one, and it is block 3, I believe. Yes, block 3. So, and it's the 4 square block. So that's our next block for today. Hey, also real quick, if you decide to use a Kimberbell quilting design, all the steps are included: the placement stitch, the tack down stitch for the batting, the placement and tack down stitch for the main fabric, and the quilting design. If you buy a quilting design from other companies like Designs by Juju or the Etsy shop that I'm using on one of my designs today, any of those, they're generally just the quilting design. So it's still easy to do. You would add on your quilting, you could do a placement and tack down, or if you've got a basting stitch, you can utilize that for the block that you're working on. Or when you have your main fabric down, you would just add a piece of batting onto the back, run your quilting design, and then stitch trim close to the quilting design after you're all done. Easy to do. Then you've got your 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. All right, one little tip. So when I do pinwheels or the 4 square blocks, I line it all up, and then I start from the center and I sew out, and I turn it around and start from the center and sew out. And that just helps so that it's not going to move at all, and it's going to stay straight, so that when you open it, you have a perfect point, perfect 4-corner point. So after that, then just open up your seams with your iron and you'll be all ready to go. Oh, that's great. Nice, nice, nice. And like I said, we're going to try and do 3 blocks today if you're up for the challenge. If not, do it at your own pace. It's not a race. I'm just hoping to have a little bit of time before spring showers comes out. So for our 3rd block for today, we're doing block 4. I'm just determined to confuse y'all. So block 4 is clover 3. We are going to do clover 3. So for our main fabric, it's that white with the flowers on it, white on white with flowers on it. And we're going to cut this to 6.5 by 6.5 and back it with fusible stabilizer to ward off puckers. And then we have one simple applique piece. It is this leather. I think it might be called seafoam. I don't recall off the top of my head. Yep, seafoam green embroidery leather. And the size on this is 4.5 by 4.5. It comes with your fabric kit if you bought a fabric kit from your favorite quilt shop. Do not back this with fusible stabilizer. Leave it just as it is. 4.5 by 4.5. And then since we're going to quilt it, we want batting. So your batting today is going to be 5 by 5 because our final cut size is 4.5 by 4.5. We always want our batting to be a 1/2 inch larger. And we want our quilting design to be a 1/2 inch smaller. So if our final cut size is 4.5 by 4.5, we want our quilting design to be 4 by 4. Any quilting design that you want. I haven't decided. I will probably do the shamrocks, maybe. Haven't decided for sure. But any quilting design that you want, that is 4 by 4. And that is our last block today. And you'll see why I chose these 3 blocks as our first day's challenge. And just for you, I am wearing a St. Patrick's Day shirt on Valentine's Day. So for our Lucky Us challenge, this is my only St. Patrick's Day shirt at the moment. It is clovers in a cute little wagon with little clovers on the wheels from Bo Mitchell Boutique, and I will add a link under the video. I added the wording myself. I will add a link to that font if I find it also. And the shirt is from Amazon. It's one of my favorites. I have it in a bunch of colors and several of them. It's my favorite. I have a really short torso. If you understand your body, it helps you to figure out what works well for you. I have very long legs and a short torso, and so I find that some of my shirts will bunch up at my waist. So this one hangs really well. It's like a blend of cotton and polyester, maybe. I don't remember exactly, but it fits well and I like it. And so I have a bunch of them, and I will add a link to this also in the underneath this video. Hey everyone, just a real quick reminder of how to find under the video. I always say there's links under the video. So just real quick, since I'm already on the computer here, you would type in YouTube/C/Cristin Creates, and boom, there's my channel. And then you can go up here to playlists if you wanted to see all of like the Stash Buster challenge or various videos. But everything is categorized, so that's one thing that really helps. But any video, so say that we're playing the last video of the Stash Buster challenge. So here is the video, and then there's Cristin, and then look, you just scroll under. So we're on a computer right now. You're watching the video, and you scroll down under, and it says Cristin Creates, and then it says click here to see links below the video. And there's show more. Once you click on show more, that's where all the links and all the information and what's coming up and the supplies needed, it's all right underneath the video. So you just click on that to be able to see everything. On a phone, I believe it's got like a little arrow over on the right hand side, and you click that and all the links and all the information comes up that way. I hope this helps. Okay, so for this also